A very warm welcome to our course. Thanks for joining us. Tesla Learning Institute welcomes you to class 10th course on science. This lecture is an introductory lecture in which we're going to discuss the basics of the subjects like syllabus, the marks allotment, the practicals that will be there associated with science. As you know, there is a 80-20 ratio of your marks in last final exam. So we'll discuss all that, how this marking distribution is in your final paper, what kind of questions and the marks to each questions. We're gonna discuss all that. And in this short lecture, we can also discuss about the books that you need to refer uh, for this subject in class 10th. So basically the syllabus that we'll be talking about here will be of CBSE. Okay, and we will little bit also talk about the level of the paper that came this year and how tough it is to score out of marks. So we'll dive into all these things in a little bit. So first let me introduce you to myself. My name is Bhavesh Tiwari. I've done my BTech in mechanical engineering. I'm MTech from NIT Warangal in computer integrated manufacturing. I've worked with many companies like Robert Bosch, KEC International Limited, Ashok Leyland, and I also have a vast experience in teaching science and mathematics, economics also, and many more subjects related to technical subjects to school and the college students. So today I'm gonna teach you about the subject that is your science subject from class 10th. The introduction to the science subject by looking at the basic marking distribution. So if you can see your 100 marks, so you have your 100 marks. Out of these, 20 marks are internal assessment, which basically refers to your practicals, your project work, and also your basic internal assessment also. The main 80 marks that is there for the theory paper will be related to all these 5 units. So you can see the first unit here is a chemical substance, nature and behavior. That is your chemistry. So chemistry constitute 25 marks of your syllabus. Second chapter and your second unit and your fifth unit basically is your biology, in which you will study about the basic human beings, animals, and basic biology, natural phenomena, and effects of current. These are the two top units dedicated for physics. इसमें हम लोग फिजिक्स की बातें करेंगे, जिसमें आपके जो चैप्टर्स है, जैसे आपका लाइट चैप्टर है, ह्यूमन आइज है, कलरफुल वर्ल्ड है, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी एंड मैग्नेटिज्म, ऑल these chapters we're going to discuss in this. So physics basically constitute 25 marks. Your biology constitutes 30 marks. So basic distribution is 25 marks, 30 marks, and 25 marks. So I will be teaching you physics for now. So we'll start physics from unit 3, that is your natural phenomena. So we will start with this. We'll go into detail, little bit look into the detail of the syllabus also in the coming slides. Okay, so this is your unit 1 syllabus, in which we're going to talk about chemical substances. As far as I know, your first chapter is completed, so you must have completed chemical reactions up by now, which is a very good chapter. So I hope you had fun learning it. So coming chapters in this unit are also very interesting, like acid, bases, and salts. You will came to know about the basic salts and the solutions you use. You will understand about those, how they behave with each other, all these things and basic things around you. And metals and non-metals, also very important chapter, and carbon compounds. So these chapters will be completed by Saurabh Chansar. So will not delve into details of these chapters. We'll go into the next unit. Again, the periodic classification is also part of this. Now next, second unit is for the world of living, that is basically a biology, in which we talk about the basic life processes. We talk about basic life processes, which includes basic nutrition, respiration, transport, excretion in plants and animals. Transport, respiration, and nutrition. This is a very interesting chapter, and you will also learn about how the digestion in you works, how the respiration system works, and how all the nutritions and all the oxygen that you intake is transmitted to every single cell in your body. How this all happens in living beings that include both plants and animals. So this is the chapter. This is very interesting and most important chapter from exam point of view. A lot of questions comes from these. Good questions comes from these. So control and coordination is your next chapter. This is basically related to your control system that controls your whole body, which includes basically your nervous system and your brain. So we're going to study about that. Third one is your reproduction, basically in which we learn about how the living beings reproduce, both in animals and the plants, different ways of reproduction, and how important it is to learn about these things. And it also involves a little social aspects also, which is your childbearing and women's health. We're going to discuss this in whenever we will delve into these chapters. Heredity and evolution is a chapter in which we're going to talk about how the single-celled animals in the beginning evolved into such complex and diverse living beings today on the planet, like human beings and different animals and plant lives. We're going to talk about heredity, how you look more similar to your parents, why is it so, and how do your whole body knows how to make your how do you look, the tone of your skin, everything is decided by the genetics that we're going to discuss in this chapter. Then we'll also talk about different contributions of various scientists, especially the Mendel's, how he propounded the laws of inheritance of traits, how this works, how the sex determination happens, whether a child will be male or female, how does it decided, and the basic concepts of evolution also we're going to discuss about. We'll discuss all these things in detail whenever we will delve, or whoever will delve into these chapters. Okay, so next unit, your third unit. Third unit is your natural phenomena. Natural phenomena, basically here in this chapter we're going to talk about your light. Everything that you see today, even the lecture you're seeing right now, is only because you have an apparatus which can sense a phenomenon, which can sense light, right? So we're going to talk about this, how important this light is, ये light क्या होती है, and there are two important phenomena associated with this. That is, the first one is your reflection, second one is your refraction. So in this unit 3 there are two chapters. The first one is your light and the second one is your human eye and colorful world. So this is your as far as I remember, this one is your chapter 10 of NCERT book, and this one is your chapter 11. Okay, So we're gonna discuss these two chapters. We're gonna start from the next lecture. We will be doing your light chapter. So we'll start from reflection of light. In the first lecture, we'll talk about reflection of light. What is it and how important light is. And we're gonna talk about the image formations by spherical mirrors, center of curvature, principal axis, principal focus. All these things we're gonna discuss in details. And so that's it in this unit. We'll move in next unit. Now, as I talked about the unit 3, which is very important from exam point of view also, and a lot of numerical questions also comes from that. Next unit is unit 4, that is the effects of current. Now this is very important. In this you will learn a lot about the functioning of different devices that you have around you and you have been using, electricity, how this works, and different aspects and different concepts related to your electricity. We're going to talk about this in this chapter, in this unit. Basically effects of current, it is saying. In this there are two units. You have the first one, two chapters, I'm sorry. The first chapter, this is your chapter 12, electricity. We talk about all about electricity. And the chapter 13th is your magnets, that is your magnetic effects of current, in which we're going to talk about what are magnets, what is this thing we call magnet, and how it has a relation with electricity, how magnetism and electricity are related with each other, and how can we generate current from magnetism and vice versa. So this is a very important chapter from point of view of understanding science, important phenomena and of science. So we're gonna look into this chapter. These chapters are very important from exam point of view. Now this chapter is almost numerical based. You will have to have numerical solving skills, otherwise you will not score in this chapter. Now magnetism is completely theory. You won't be asked any numerical from this chapter. Okay, so whenever we do this chapter, we'll discuss those at that time. But you need to go through everything. Just look through every single words that are written there. That is the electric current, potential difference, Ohm's law, resistivity, factors in which the resistance of conductor depends, combinations of resistors, parallel as well as series, their applications in daily life, heating effect, electric power, relation between P, V, I and R. What is this? We're going to discuss this in details. Okay, so don't worry if you're not getting very familiar very fast. It's all okay. Okay, so we're going to look into this in the coming lectures. Okay. Natural resources is a part of science which will be dealt along with biology. Okay, that is your unit 2nd, and your unit 5th is your part of biology. So we're going to discuss there. Basically they are very small chapters which you need to have basic knowledge about the sources of energy. Different sources of energies are there, and how can you use that energy and convert it useful form. Basically the useful form for us is electricity. So from different sources we are trying to generate electricity. The different ways are there. So our second chapter in this unit will be our environment, in which we're going to talk about environment problems. जैसे आपकी ozone depletion is there, waste production, and how to manage that waste. There are different type of waste are there, biodegradable and non-biodegradable. आपके घरों पे There used to be different kind of bins for different kind of different kind of waste. So all these things we're going to discuss in this, and how we're going to manage our natural resources. What are natural resources? The resources which are naturally occurring on the planet, and we are using those resources and converting them in something useful for us. Like you have your devices, you have your pen, you have your book, you have your copies, notebooks. So all these are derived from natural resources. But the problem is we are using it excessively. So we need to have a system where we could manage our natural resources in such a way that we do judicial use and also have doing it conservation at the same time. We save our forest and wildlife. We reduce our consumption of coal and petroleum. We're going to discuss about how the people's participation can help in natural resources, and how the big dams, are these a good thing or a bad thing? Because big dams helps you in generation of electricity, also helps in irrigation purposes, but big dams are also dangerous for flora and fauna in that area. So what are the advantages of these? What are the limitations of these? We're going to discuss all these things at the time comes. Okay, so this is your whole basic syllabus of science. So these are your practicals. There are not many practicals. So in physics, what we're gonna do is all practicals in physics. So these are, first of all, let's look into these practicals. These are basically the practicals that you have in chemistry. So I hope this chemistry sir will discuss you with these practicals. So these are again practical related with your reactions from the chapter 1, chemical combination reaction, decomposition, displacement reaction, double displacement. You must have read these by now. So these are the lecture practicals we will discuss by sir. So here what I will be covering yours, this is this one. This is your study of dependence of potential difference across a resistor on the current, and how to find the resistance by plotting a graph between V and I. We're gonna discuss this along with the theory part. That is, whenever we will study the electricity chapter, we will also look into this practical. The determination of the equivalent resistance to resistors when connected in series, again with electricity. Will understand this practical also. So good thing with for you is it will be very easy for you to handle practicals also. So this is your bio. So this is will not be done in physics. So this is your physics. So I am basically focused on physics right now. So this is the light chapter. So we're gonna discuss this also whenever we'll study physics chapter. We'll definitely at the end we'll also talk about the practicals. So again, this is physics. This is physics. This is bio. Again, physics. So you have almost I think six or five practicals are there. We'll discuss along with the chapters that are there. All right. So now this is a paper design. You have passed 9, so ideally this is the paper pattern that comes in exams. इस तरह का पेपर आपको मिलेगा कि आपको 20 क्वेश्चन 1 मार्क के मिलेंगे, आपको यहाँ पे 10 क्वेश्चंस 3 मार्क के मिलेंगे, दैट आर कॉल्ड द शॉर्ट आंसर्स. सो आपको 10 क्वेश्चन मिलेंगे, उनमें से कुछ क्वेश्चंस अलग अलग तरह के होते हैं. वी गोना डिस्कस अबाउट द टाइपोलॉजी आल्सो, बट ऑब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चन आपके जो 1 मार्क के विल बी योर 20 क्वेश्चंस. 10 क्वेश्चंस होंगे आपके 3 मार्क्स के, 5 मार्क के क्वेश्चंस आपके आएंगे ओनली 6. सो दिस ये कितना बन गया? 20 क्वेश्चन फॉर 1 मार्क, 20. 30 marks will be formed because 10 questions are there of 3 marks. 3 into 10, 30. 6 into 5, 30. So that makes it how much? 80 marks. Now if you look at this typology, क्या होता है typology? आपके क्वेश्चन सारे एक तरह के नहीं आते हैं. कुछ क्वेश्चन जो होते हैं वो आपकी मेमोरी चेक करेंगे कि आपको चीज़ें कितनी याद हैं, आपको कॉन्सेप्ट कितने याद हैं. सो उस पे बेस्ड क्वेश्चन जो आपके आते हैं, दैट इज अराउंड 22.5%. अंडरस्टैंडिंग बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस कम्स दैट आर 25%. एंड एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड, मतलब आपको कॉन्सेप्ट आ गया, फॉर्मूले आ गए, अब आपको मिला न्यूमेरिकल, वैल्यूज दी हैं गिवन, आपको एक वेरिएबल को फाइंड करना है. तो आपको सोचना पड़ेगा क्या दिया हुआ है, क्या निकालना है, कौन सा फॉर्मूला लगेगा. दिस इज द एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड. Different situation will be there, so you have to use your brain to apply the formula and the concept that you learned in the exam, in the classroom, and solve the question. Okay, so we'll definitely look into these kind of questions. These are very interesting and you'll have fun solving these kind of questions, and they are very important. So this constitutes 21.25%. And then the analyzing and evaluating questions, in which you have to do extra work in deriving the important points from the question that is given, because complex question will be very complex here. Okay, you'll have to understand the question and try to find out what is it actually saying. And creating will basically also constitute 3 questions of 3 marks will be there. That is 9 marks, that is 11.25% questions आपके जो आएंगे वो डिफरेंट कॉन्सेप्ट्स को एक साथ कंबाइन करके आएंगे. Okay, so these kind of question we'll discuss them whenever we will solve questions. We'll discuss how we solve all kind of questions here. Internal assessment. So internal assessment में 20 marks that you have. There are periodics जो आपके बीच में होंगे, 5 marks वहाँ से आते हैं आपके. Subject practical work जो आपने करा है 5 marks वहाँ से आएंगे. And portfolio, the practicals and everything that you did whole year, 5 marks will count it from there. So that's it. So in this lecture we discussed, that's it. Thank you for just some study material that we can discuss. So study material that we recommend is your NCERT textbooks, exemplars. NCERT जो books हैं वो बहुत अच्छी books हैं, उनकी language बहुत अच्छी है. I will strongly recommend you to study, try to read that. You can do it before the lectures or you can do after lecture, but we recommend you do this. This is the very good book, the best book there. And if you want to solve questions, sufficient questions are there in NCERT, but also very good question supplementary is also there, that is called the NCERT exemplar. Do that. For a lab purposes, there is a lab manual by NCERT also. It's a good one, but you don't need to have it right now. If you really feel like you need an extra book because you are not able to understand science, so you can go for supplementary books, but that's an optional and we don't recommend that. But if you really want to have it, we'll say go for all-in-one, because it have lots of questions that will help you in getting good grip of the concepts and developing your application abilities. So other book is your Physics by Lakmeer Singh and Manjeet Kaur. It's a very elaborate book and a very good book if you really want to understand the concept in a simple way. It's a good book if you really want to go for it. And other study material that you need is the sample papers. It's that CBSE releases every year, and also previous year questions. Okay, so these are the very important things that you need to have. Okay, so if you want to score out of marks, what are the minimum things that you need? So all these three. So if you want to score 80 out of 80, all you need is your efforts, your attention. This is very important, right? So problem with the students is they don't pay enough attention in the classes or whenever they read books. So attention is the most important thing. Whatever we are teaching you here, pay full attention to it. Solve the assignments and study notes in detail. Read textbooks, NCERT textbook. Solve the questions, exercise, okay, plus examples also. Very good examples are there in there. An exemplar, if you have time, or we will give questions from these in your assignments, but also you can have this book, do questions solved from this. You have MCQs in this, plus short answers, even very short answers, and long answer questions are there. And also you can go for sample paper questions. So these things are more than sufficient to score 80 out of 80 in exam. It's very easy, okay, but you will have to put your efforts in solving these things. But if you will do it, you don't need any other book. Okay, so that's it in this lecture. From next lecture we'll start with your chapter 10, that is your unit 3, natural phenomena. The first one is your light, reflection and refraction. Okay, thank you very much for uh, okay, so just gonna look into how we're gonna work on this. So lecture, first you have to read NCERT after. Try to make yourself notes if you can. You should actually solve the assignment that I give you after every lecture. So once a chapter is complete, you have to give a test. Okay, right now because of some lockdown in the country, we cannot have live physical classes. So for now, you just need to do the lectures. Test we can have whenever you come to our institute. Okay, so this is the cycle that you need to follow to understand the concepts and the subject good. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very much. So we'll wrap this